Hey guys, welcome back to another live stream at FPL Tips. And tonight with us we have a veteran, FPL veteran. Most of you guys already know him, but since some of you guys don't know, let me introduce Abu Bakar Siddiqui, aka Big Man Bakar. If you don't follow him on Twitter, do follow him. His reviews are world famous, and I'm not even exaggerating. And he has the world top four finish as well. He's finished fourth in the world once, I think, and about a couple of, or more than a couple, 10K finishes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2015, I was fourth in 2015, and other than that, yeah, I have a couple of top 10K finishes as well.
Okay. So just let me know chat if you guys can hear us and see us clearly, and then we'll begin with the stream. I've put a 30-second. Wait, we can just continue till then. But I say we can just talk about injury updates. I think I have posted most of the injury updates. The major one is that DCL is out for the first game, and he'll be
Yeah.
back for the second one, which is not exactly what we wanted as FPL managers, because
The second one is the tougher game,
second
no?
one was the
Against
tougher one.
City. Exactly.
Yes, so but fair enough. I think that has immensely changed my plans for wildcard and bench boost. Now that DCL is fit, and to quote exactly what Ancelotti said, that he's not injured. He felt something, and that is why he was subbed off immediately, so that the injury is not aggravated. So I think it's fair enough to assume that he might be back for the next game week fully fit. Apart from that, the Diaz is back. I think Rodri was training as well, so both of them should play. Okay, I thought we lost Bakar.
No, I'm right here. The Rodri news is very pertinent because that means that Gundogan can play in the advanced role that he's
Yes,
playing, or else he could have dropped back in a deeper role had Rodri been unfit.
and apart from that, Justin is out for the season, which I am slightly happy about. Not for the player, but for FPL specifically. And he was the one who's causing me red arrows, and I'm pretty much
He
happy.
was playing so well. Unfortunately, he actually tore his ACL apparently,
Yeah, unfortunately,
which is
yes.
very serious, very serious. Which is such a shame. He was playing so well. I didn't own him, but yeah, I
Yes, he was
feel for
playing, definitely playing one of the. I mean, constantly getting bonus points and getting involved in goals as well.
the
Definitely was
FPL
playing well.
implication can be that Ricardo Pereira is, I think he's below 5 million, right? And
Yes.
and he can with Castagna injured as well, and now Justin's injured, so I'm sure he's gonna get a regular run in the team now. So that he might be worth looking at. I mean, I was looking at his fixtures yesterday as well, and his fixtures from 26 onwards. Leicester have Arsenal, Burnley in 26, and then they have Brighton and Sheffield in 27, 28. So Leicester's fixtures coming up are very good. So he can be one worth keeping an eye on, particularly for those managers on, on wildcard.
Okay. And the last one is Antonio, and most of us do own Antonio now because of that Fulham game. Moyes specifically said that he should be okay, but I'm not really confident because particularly I thought that it was his hamstring that he injured, or some muscle at the back of his thigh. It was not fatigue, to be honest, because he was holding on his hamstring when he walked off. Let's see. I'm not really confident of him starting, to be honest.
Here, you're not confident. I think he's gonna play. I have a feeling he's gonna play.
Okay, so we straightly dive into the double game weeks. I'll share the ticker as well, so most of you guys can see it. So can we, for our reference. Okay, so for 24, it's pretty much simple. Get three City players. Get at least one Burnley defender. If your Bucker, get three Burnley defenders. Oh no, sorry, two Burnley defenders and board, and possibly look at Everton assets, if any.
I'm actually for my own personal team, I might even triple up on the Burnley defense. It's a late decision for me to decide, but for managers who are looking who are looking to this double game week 24, I think three from City are honestly a must. Ideally, ideally two from defense and one of Sterling or Gundogan. Both Sterling, Gundogan, and one defender works. That's fine as well. I don't mind that combination personally. Um, I don't think having anyone from Fulham or Um, Fulham
Everton.
or Everton for that matter is a must. For as far as Burnley are concerned, I think one defender is enough, whether it's Pope or anyone
Me,
else.
me or Tarkowski. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The
So
upside is going for more than one, but yeah, at least one is. I think
I
they at
think
least
they
one is.
will manage at least one clean sheet out of the two easy fixtures.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if they don't keep a clean sheet. I mean, the stats, Palace don't have great stats at home, particularly without Zaha. They haven't scored a goal yet this season. Fulham are like 13th or 14th away from home in the past four away games. So Fulham away from home, they don't exactly pose a great threat either. I'm very confident of a Burnley clean sheet in at least one of the two games, if not both.
And what about Barnes? Like particularly, I had two things in mind. Now, since DCL is not out for long term, I initially thought I would just replace DCL with probably Barnes for a 1 week punt, which is fine on the part of it. But the stats are not there. But he can still end up scoring a goal or getting a penalty.
Yeah, I mean Barnes. The thing with Barnes is that yeah, like the stats are really not there, but like he has to be a gut pick, honestly. I think for those who are looking for a one-way differential, that they might be better off looking at Richarlison for the forward slot over Barnes. I just don't think Burnley offer enough. Um, and besides, I'm not sure whether Barnes will score too many points because I think Vidra is going to start with him, and I think Vidra might get the higher share of points if Burnley
If
are to
they
score.
score.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they'll score against Fulham. I'm not sure they'll score against Palace.
Uh, okay, an odd question. Like since Richarlison's name is coming up a lot, but he'll not exactly playing the number 9 or the number 10 role respectively. I think if they have Joshua King fit, he's likely to start in place of DCL,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which could be tricky.
Uh,
I mean, one because they haven't played together even once.
Exactly. We don't have a sample size, so it's very hard for us to, see. Apparently, he was really poor in the championship, so it's not as if he's coming on back of some form or anything. Josh King doesn't have anything, to support his numbers. I just think that Richarlison. The thing with Richarlison is the fact that he scored in the cup. He scored twice, so people are now looking at him. And I think that's fair enough given his fixture. I don't think Everton will score against City, so all the eggs are in the Fulham basket basically.
So with DCL, probably bench him this week, hold on to him or sell him, and if sell, for who?
I mean, this depends on the strategy you have. If you're like me, wildcarding in 25, then I'd look to sell, given that he has the City fixture this week. If you're someone who's wildcarding after 26, then I'd probably look to hold DCL, given that he has a favorable fixture in 26. Everton, if I'm not mistaken, have West Brom and Southampton or one of
Yes.
Villa in 26. Yeah, so those fixtures are nice. So if someone's not wildcarding by 26, then I see the sense in keeping hold of DCL, but otherwise I'd sell.
No, this is exactly why we are doing this stream. You are one of those persons who's going to probably wildcard. Now I'm in a mist where I could actually wildcard. I played two of my free transfers this week, and but my initial strategy was that I'm not going to wildcard. So this gives
All right.
most of the people watching the stream, gives them an idea that how like you can go about with the strategy with different teams in perspective.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Also, Dine, do you want to
So
touch upon him, or is his like
he's
output
back in
reduced?
training. He's back in training. I'd not. Like. I won't suggest actively investing in him. If you have him, hold on to him. But I won't like actively look to buy him or something.
I mean, clearly his output would drop without DCL. I mean, if King
Yeah,
starts, I expect
I'd
him to
imagine
improve.
so. I'd imagine so. And besides, like he's only gonna get a 1 pointer out of the game against City, so there's not much over there either. I look at this as a single game week for him.
Okay, so moving on to 25, probably for everyone who's going to wildcard, that's you have to double up at least on leads. That's pretty much sure, and probably go
Absolutely,
Ings.
like Bamford and Rafinha are the ones to go for, and maybe even Dallas, even though Leeds their defense isn't as reliable. But I think Rafinha and Bamford they're the ones to go for
Okay,
sure. And
I
doubling up
also
on
had
both.
this thing where I created a wildcard draft, which we'll discuss later. But if you pick
Hmm.
Rafinha and Ings, and then later on you take a -4 for 26 and switch them out, You can bring in Madison, who has a decent double game week against Arsenal
But
and
why would you
Wolves.
sell Ings before a double?
I'm not. That depends on if he has a double in 26. No, as of now, it's like 50% probability, right?
Yeah, I mean, if there's, sorry, if he doesn't double in 26, then he's definitely going to double in 27. It works that way. So he does have at least two doubles in the coming 3 weeks.
So that looks like a nailed on replacement for DCL. If anyone's looking out there, that pretty much sums it
Yeah,
up.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if someone's looking long term, then I mean, Ings is not a bad shout. If you have a wild card and looking to sell DCL, and you're not looking to wild card in the next 3 or 4 game weeks, then Ings is, I mean, he has a lot of double game week fixtures coming up. He's not a bad buy either.
And between Rafinha and Harrison, like recently Harrison on the eye test and in form as well, he's looked decent. But the stats, as far as I have read as well and studied, I think Rafinha is
Yeah,
far
Rafinha is
better.
far better for shots inside the box. Rafinha has a greater goal threat, and that's why I think I'm going to go for him.
Okay, so you're pretty much
His
sure that you'll go
involvement
for him.
percentage is higher.
Okay. And okay, that sounds of 26. I think most people have put out a post, and most people right now know that which teams are doubling up in 26. We can
Hmm.
move on to specifics. Anything you want to add for the double game week 26?
Uh, for 26, I think the thing with 26 is there's so many premium options at play that it actually makes hard for managers who are planning a bench boost. Like someone like me, I'm looking to bench boost in 26, and I'm gonna have a hard time. And I'm looking at the likes of Ricardo Pereira, Luke Shaw, these kind of players to make up my bench. I have no problems personally. Why I like Leeds for 25 is because I think Rafinha and Bamford they're playing at home against Villa in 26 as well, and I don't mind playing them there even as part of my bench boost. I think they're good cheap assets, and they're gonna offer good value going into double game week 26 as well.
So for the viewers, Ricardo Perez 5.9 million. So in
It's
case,
5.9. Oh my
yes,
god, I didn't
5.9.
expect that.
So
Oh, I
that
thought it
that
must be
actually takes up a
4.9.
lot of funds. I mean, for a
Yeah,
bench
that's
boost
too
team, that's a
much.
lot of funds.
That's definitely too much. Yeah. 5.9 is something I won't go for. I thought it must be
And
like 5 point something
also,
or something.
we could see, I think, Daniel Amarte starting or Mendy. I think either of them would start in the defense, as per Sam Martin as well, uh, who usually ends up leaking some of the lesser news. So could be either of them starting in place of Justin, or they could switch up the formation. I
There's
initially thought
Fuchs
Thomas.
around as well. Isn't there? There's
Uh,
Fuchs around as well.
yeah, I initially thought Thomas had a chance, but then again, he was never favored last year as well.
Yeah, he like Rogers is very random in his selection with Thomas.
And I think which teams would for you stand out for 26? Like if you had to get in players apart from City, I think everyone will have three City players.
Spurs obviously Spurs have Burnley at home and either one of
Fulham. It
Southampton or
looks like
Villa.
Fulham is most likely.
Sorry, Southampton or Fulham, yeah. And then they also have a fixture in 29, which is very pertinent for managers who are looking to, who don't have a free hit in hand and they're looking to invest in, premium options for 26. So that's something which bodes well. Similarly for Villa, Villa have a double in 26 and they have a fixture in 29. So, I mean, these kind of assets are good ones to buy. Also, I'd like to mention that Brighton have
A single
Brighton
game
have
week,
West Brom in
essentially.
26 as a
Yeah.
single game week. And then they have Fulham, I think, in 29, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken, right? Sorry, Newcastle.
Uh,
Newcastle in
but they
29.
have a couple of easy fixtures coming up. I think in 29 they have Newcastle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
29 they have Newcastle, they have West Brom in 26. So for someone who's looking at bench boosting 26, Brighton assets can also be good good buys.
But that exactly comes up. I mean, how many single game week players after wildcard would you bring into your team? I mean,
Look, I would you consider Rafinha and Bamford as single game week players?
yeah, I would
I mean,
consider
they
as
are down in 25, but like in 26,
yeah. I mean,
they have a single.
it all depends on when you're bench boosting. Ultimately, you guys, everyone will bench boost in 26 most probably. So you want to maximize points there ultimately. Yes, those double gaming is there for Leeds, but I don't see them outscoring Wolves easily and Southampton easily because Wolves are, as you said, they're back to parking the bus again.
Yeah, Wolves, their numbers are better. I I do think they will score once. I don't think they'll
Yeah,
score
I
too many,
think
but
once.
I do fancy them to score once at least, and perhaps once against Southampton as well. Um,
But
so
that
yeah,
again,
it's just that like for their price, for the price that Rafinha and Bamford are offering, I don't mind that.
but again, in midfield, like if you like hold a spot for Rafinha for 26, you're left with Bruno, who's definitely going to be in most teams. Probably
Yeah,
Sun will be there for sure. I think some people
yeah,
might
Son
look
will be
into.
there for sure. Yeah, Kane will be there for sure as
Yeah,
well.
Kane will be there for sure. Might look into Grealish as well. He has a decent double. He has Sheffield, and I think either of Everton or Leeds. Leeds, probably Leeds. That's there for guarantee. So I would keep Grealish as well ultimately, because those are the sides that he can do well against.
And I
Would
was
you keep
speaking
him?
of Leicester and Vardy. If you look at Vardy's fixtures,
Yeah, the fixtures after that are good as well. For Leeds, I'm not sure what fixtures they have after Game Week 26. If I just look into it, they face.
Leeds have Fulham in 29. So like that's one thing.
That's
Another
one upside, yeah.
uh,
That's one upside if you don't have free hit.
exactly, that's something another worth noting. They have West Ham and Chelsea in 27, 28.
Fair enough. I think we will anyways cover this in the wildcard picks, because there are a lot of spots and there are a lot of players to cover out there. But as of now, you're looking at wildcard in 25. Okay, so
Yeah,
that brings us to game week
yeah.
29, which we have five fixtures. I think the Aston Villa Tottenham is a blessing for everyone, irrespective of
You
your
think so?
wildcarding
You
or
think
not.
so? As someone who had the free hit available, I actually wanted more carnage. I didn't want that game to go ahead.
You have free hit, so you can probably complain for it. I don't have free
Exactly. I
hit.
was I was actually I was actually rooting for more carnage.
So for me, it becomes very template. If I go, if probably we'll have a Brighton defender or a keeper, I would have someone like an
Yeah,
Antonio or Saka. Leeds, I would have
yeah,
Bamford, maybe, or
exactly.
Rafinha. And for
Yeah,
Aston Villa, I would
Grealish.
have 2 to 3 players at least, and with same with Tottenham.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this is
So I
without
mean,
wildcard.
everyone is gonna have at least 8 to 9 players, I'd imagine,
Yeah, so it doesn't give
easily, and
free hitters.
without too much surgery, easily. I think.
Yeah, it doesn't give you a big advantage free hitting there. I mean, decent
I
chances if.
I I kind of agree. Yeah, I kind of agree. I kind of agree.
Would you rather than free, if you don't have a bench boost, would you free hit in 26 or 29?
I don't have a free hit, but I bench boost in 20. Would I free hit in 26 or 29? That's a tough question. That's actually interesting. That's
I
actually
would
very
personally go for
interesting.
maximizing my points in 26. I mean, put all the funds I have in Sun,
But the
Kane,
thing
all the
is,
premium assets.
I mean that then again that depends on the amount of Leicester. I'm saying Burnley, Southampton, and Leeds players someone has. So for someone like me, let's assume you ask the same question to me, and let's assume that I have a free hit in hand, and I have used my bench boost. Let's assume I don't have any leads, right? So for me, it will make more sense. It would make more sense to free hit in 29, right? Because I'll be wildcarding next week. I'll be getting Leeds players in. I'll have those players ready for 26.
But that also bails you out of single game week players, which
Yeah,
is Leeds,
yeah.
and
It's
going
actually there's an
everything.
opportunity cost. It's actually a very interesting question that you asked. There's this opportunity cost of letting go of some of the players you'd want in 26, which is actually interesting. Yeah.
I
I think
would
this is very
personally go
team
for the
specific. Honestly,
double
honestly,
blank.
this is very team specific, and it depends on the team someone has right now.
Okay, so I think in 29, you probably everyone who has free hit will try to free hit, provided that you have bench boost. If you don't have bench boost, it's up to you where you want to free hit in 26 or 29. But I would personally free hit in 26. I think the points are grabbed for that, because ultimately everyone's
I
gonna have
think
a
it depends on
template
the
in
team.
29
I
in
honestly
field.
think it depends on the team. I won't be so sure.
I mean, you see a template out there for
You know,
29.
I mean, I'm assuming most matches are going to have Son. Most matches are going to have Triple City already in place, right?
Yeah.
Then there's the like of there's the likes of Bamford and Rafinha. I'm assuming most matches are going to have them, right? I don't mind them as single game weekers in 26. That's why I'm saying I'm not really sure whether the upside of free hit will be worth it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Fair enough. I think Bakar has made his point. Which Burnley defender to keep? I think. Which would you pick?
I think Tarkowski for the goal threat.
I don't have the money. That's the problem. I know Tarkowski could score, but I am just trying to convince
Just go with
myself
me
that
then.
maybe not.
This is not a big deal. Just go with me.
But in case if he scores and I'm short by point 0.3, that just hurts.
It's point 0.3. It's not point 0.1. It could be worse. I mean,
Okay.
speaking of 26 and wild carding in 25, why don't you like tell us about a few differentials which people might be, there are a lot of people who are asking
Yeah,
this
I
question to
have a
me.
couple of
Uh, you
differentials in the
know,
wildcard draft. I'll just put that up instead. I
yeah.
prepared.
There's so many people who keep asking about differentials. People are looking to gain rank and make ground in their leagues. So this is a very commonly asked question. I mean, because they're like, okay, everyone's gonna have Bamford, Rafinha. Where do we make up ground? Where are the differentials?
Okay, so this is
So
exactly what I was talking about. I think what I made as a wildcard draft, which you probably can help as well. I had Martinez in goal. I had Ariola, which could be easily Sanchez. I'm just confused between the two. It's basically a debate between do you want a double game week keeper or go for Sanchez, who has better fixture. Because
yeah,
Fulham also
okay,
play in they also play in 29, so it's not a blank game week problem.
yeah.
I have picked up Cancelo. Diaz, Dyer is slightly doubtful, which we can get clear more information about this week. If he starts, I'll probably
Yeah.
get him. uh, can see at least one clean sheet for Tottenham in that game week. I've picked up Van Bissaka and I've picked up Maitland Niles. Now I do see West Brom as a team who can score, who probably can keep a clean sheet,
Yeah,
and
their
Maitland Niles
fixtures
is
are
pretty.
very good actually. Their fixtures are great. Their fixtures are great, but it's West Brom. That's the problem.
I mean,
It's West
exactly,
Brom.
but that is why I picked him. It's barely I don't see anyone owning them. I had Thomas initially, but then again, Thomas won't start. So I think at 4.6, if you had to take a punt, I am taking Maitland Niles, which is a decent shout, to be honest.
It's. I don't mind him. I don't mind him, but I won't go there personally. I won't go there.
I mean, who would you get for 4.6 or 4.7 if you had the odd point 1, point 2 in the
Shaw
league?
is 4.8. I would go with
Shaw
Shaw.
is 4.9 now, I think. That's the problem. I already have Van Bissaka. We could probably, the problem is that Shaw is now 4.9. Otherwise, I was
I mean,
planning to.
someone from Everton might not be the worst option actually.
I looked at I think Keane, who has not Roy Keane, but Keane,
So, yeah, Michael Keane
who has a good goal threat. He's
and
5.1
Holgate.
again.
Holgate, we're not sure about Holgate whether he keeps his place or not.
Yeah, he could be a decent option as well.
Yeah, he's someone who I'm monitoring. I mean, there's Rudiger, but I don't like his fixtures. He has Liverpool, and I don't expect Chelsea to keep a clean sheet in either of the two fixtures.
That is exactly what my team will be stuck at, well, because now I'll have a situation where I have to play Rudiger in a double game week if I don't want to probably wildcard in 25. Okay, so
Yes.
in midfield, I've kept Madison, Grealish, Gundogan, Bruno Fernandes, and Son. So that's pretty much the best
So
midfield I
Madison
could
is
come
the
up with.
big one, right? Madison is a huge differential.
And I also find Madison's fixture decent enough. Arsenal, and I think they play
Yeah.
Burnley. So I find them scoring against them now that Vardy is back. Now
I,
Vardy
I, I
has
can
an
see Leicester scoring at least twice against Burnley. Sorry, against Arsenal, and I noticed that away from home their numbers are actually far better. So I'd be surprised they score if they don't score twice against Burnley either. I expect them to score there as well.
and then attack we have Kane, Bamford, and I've picked in Diagne from West Brom, the new attacker. He scored two
Yeah.
offside goals and he did caught my eye. He did catch my eye ultimately because I
Yeah,
thought he could be
fair
a good
enough. Yeah,
differential
I
double.
don't think he's a bad shot. Yeah,
I would have
I
gone
get it.
Mope as we discussed earlier, but I then he doesn't have a double, which
And Potter is a bit random with the selections. We spoke about this. Speaking of differentials, so okay, you highlighted uh,
so basically
Madison in
three.
particular.
I have four differentials which I if we include Van Bissaka in it, but the major one is Diagne and Madison. These are two which most people will overlook or not include, and it's also a
Yeah,
price thing.
I think you can count Van Bissaka as a differential as well for sure.
And this is what I was talking about. I removed Rafinha and Ings. I made a template with Rafinha and Ings in it, and I removed the two of them to fit in Madison and Diagne. Now, if I don't remove Ings, I'll have to cut down funds somewhere from Van Bissaka, I think, but that's the easiest route to get in Ings and Madison
Yeah,
both.
yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, I was looking at someone like even a Lloris because I think Spurs have the standout fixtures going into the double. I think he could be a good option because, like, ideally, I want a Spurs defender going into Game Week 26 because I noticed their fixtures in 27 and 28 are pretty good as well. They have Palace coming up in 27, so I mean that's another fixture I'd want a Spurs player for. Other than that, I think there's Shaw. I've already spoken about. I don't mind Trent. I don't mind Trent either. But for that, obviously, compromise will have to be made in midfield and attack. Uh, I might I might go 4-4-2. Might opt for an approach like that for in the coming weeks. But I think Trent could be a very nice buy because Liverpool, if you notice, Liverpool have Sheffield and Chelsea in 26, then they have Fulham and Wolves in 28. So I don't mind their fixtures personally.
Would if Kabak is starting tomorrow, which most is like floating around, that is the news. Like, he was expected to start last week as well. He's priced at 5, I think, 5 or
Yeah,
5.5.
he's definitely someone who could be value. Yeah,
I
for
I
sure.
I think if he's starting, I could actually move Van Bissaka to Kabak and Maitland Niles to Shaw. That gives me the United
Yeah,
as well as Liverpool cover alongside Dyer.
yeah. I think that's much better actually. That's much
And
better
it
actually.
also gives you some room to upgrade Dyer to someone like an Alderweireld, which is starting consistently, and then you don't have to worry about rotation at Spurs as well.
Yeah, fair enough. Other than that, I, I I mean, there's the single game week options for Brighton we've already spoken about. Honestly, there's not much to say. I mean, there's Vardy, and I like him, but again, he's very pricey, and with Kane, Son, it will be very hard to fit him in. I noticed that you didn't have Salah in your draft.
You can't. That's exactly my next
Yeah,
point. I mean, I have Salah at the moment in my team, and that is what is stopping me from going wildcard, because I don't feel like going bench boost without Salah in my team. Now you'll have to remove Kane for Salah, which is the obvious swap out there. I would remove Kane and Grealish, get in Watkins and Salah. And looking at the fixtures and form, I mean Kane. I know the fixtures are for Kane, but it's not like the Salah has tough fixtures around that game week 26, 25, 27 period.
yeah. I mean, I noticed that. I mean, for that, I mean, okay, for 26, I get the idea because like you can go with Kane and the captaincy will be sorted. What about 27? Who's the standout captaincy going to 27 in your opinion?
I haven't taken a look at the fixtures. I
Liverpool or Fulham
remember
at home?
Liverpool have Fulham.
Liverpool or Fulham at home?
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
problem.
That's exactly. And if you remove Kane, then I mean the entire purpose of holding on or bringing Kane is 29 ultimately. Also having him in 29. So you're essentially also wasting taking a -4 in 27, and then you probably want him back in 29.
Do you
Right.
regret it? Do you regret it by any chance?
What?
Do you regret using it
No.
then
I
by any
think I
chance?
did take a lead in my mini leagues, and I'm happy about it. Anyways, the rank
Exactly,
also
because
it took a green arrow.
because we were just speaking about the fact that I mean, there's not a huge advantage for those people who have a free hit in hand going into 29.
Yeah, I'm pretty much happy if that worked out in my favor. I had a green arrow. I had a decent score, about 60, 65, and then I also jumped up on my mini league, so it's fair enough.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, some
fine.
punts didn't pay off. Obviously, Lacazette didn't pay off. Eminently, I remember him scoring only 2 points that week, and a couple of players as
Yeah.
well. I think the standout thing was the City fixture, where I captained. I didn't captain. I think De Bruyne. I expected
Oh.
Brighton to not concede more than 2 goals, which was I was hoping for as well. So that worked out well.
Who did you captain that game week?
I think I captained someone else, a small or a key. I think I captained a defender from City. I didn't captain De Bruyne.
Oh, that's very punty and brave.
I did. I mean, it did feel like City were not scoring much at that moment of time because they usually score two, and then as later as I mentioned, they're just saving energy. It does feel like that in every match. I mean, against Liverpool as well, they could have scored 6-7 easily at that moment.
Speaking of captains, who are you captaining this week? Is it Gundogan?
Yeah, I am going to discuss that in detail. So
Yeah.
we can just pick that topic up now. Now, according to me, I'm not confident on Gundogan as a captain pick because of the following three reasons. One, when Sheffield against Sheffield, City played a striker, proper striker, which is Jesus. Gundogan was not that effectively involved in getting inside the box. He was majorly around the box, but not inside the box. which I did notice in the match. Now Aguero and Jesus both are fit, so it's likely that either of them start. Given that both of them are fit and they could happen. Now penalties is also an issue with Aguero. If Aguero starts, there's no way Gundogan is on pens with Aguero.
Aguero won't start. I mean, he's far
He's
away
just
from match
yeah.
fitness.
He had his second training
He's
session.
training, but like he can't start. I'm sure he won't be thrown in straight away.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
won't.
but I noticed your point about Jesus. That's actually a good thing and a good point. I've noticed that as well.
And that does worry me because that could end up having 3 and 3 points, ultimately 12 points. I'm rather looking at someone like a Cancelo or Bruno Fernandes, to be honest, because I'm not really fearing the double gaming so much. I think if Bruno can score a double-digit haul, it's fair enough to captain him.
You're not too worried about Cancelo being rested in one of the games because I fear a rest in the second game.
But that could be the case with everyone because now Gundogan has to play 3 games in 7 days. He has to play the Gladbach game away from home on Wednesday, which is without doubt. I don't see him getting benched there. It could be the Everton game where he's rested, and if Fernandinho is back, he could play. But it's also a case where how the extent of injury for Fernandinho. He hasn't trained today, so even if he starts
Yeah.
training in the next 3-4 days, it's unlikely that he's pushed into a game straight away.
Because the point regarding Cancelo is if I take you back in time, um, when City were playing Cheltenham, he got rested. Then he got that 17 pointer to West Brom,
Yeah,
played 90
thanks
minutes,
to you.
and then he got rested right after that, which was kind of surprising for the Sheffield game because he'd had his rest. He would have had his rest against Cheltenham. Then he played just once for 90 minutes. Then he got rested again. So this week it's kind of similar. He was rested against Swansea. I fully expect him to play 90 against Everton. But can you say that with any kind of confidence or any kind of reasonable assurance that he's going to play 90 against Spurs as well? I'm not.
I'm not
Sorry, Everton
confident.
as well. I'm not sure.
If I had to pick top two, I would pick Sterling first. I'm not even sure about Sterling starting the second because you always think that he's rested, he's subbed off, and he'll probably play the next 2 games.
I think he's going to play both. I think Gundogan and Sterling are both going to play both. I do think based on the computation that you ran and the comparison that you sent me and posted on your Twitter, Sterling's numbers are slightly better than Gundogan's, and I just think he's a bit more explosive.
Pretty much my thought as well. I think Sterling for captaincy, if you have him, probably put him on it. Between Gundogan and Bruno, it's a debate to be honest. To me, I'm not really confident on Gundogan. It also is a template pick where everyone will be going Gundogan. I don't really like to captain template picks because I'm someone who's chasing rank ultimately right now. And if Bruno is without Pogba, he had his rest in the FA Cup game. Certainly had
Yeah,
impacted the game
Bruno.
as
I mean,
the moment he came on.
any other week, and Bruno would have 200% effective ownership this week.
Yeah, if it was not a double game, I don't think anyone's looking at City or any
Yeah,
team.
exactly. No chance. No chance.
And it also brings us to effective ownership because in my bracket, I think Gundogan's effective ownership is probably going to be about 160-50 at least. So the point gain is marginal. You get 0.5 every time he scores 2. So
Hmm. Yeah.
I am actually looking at Bruno Fernandes as a captaincy option.
I'm not averse to that. I think he's a good option this week.
Apart from that, I don't see anyone as a captaincy option.
Yeah, I won't.
Probably
That's fine.
probably Suchek if you bench him. Otherwise, no.
He's probably worth a triple captaincy in that case.
Okay,
Are
a
you
couple
playing
of people.
Suchek? You do you own Suchek by any
No,
chance?
no.
Okay, so
I just
you
love it
have
when you play
nothing
him.
to do with.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see how it goes. I'm playing him against Sheffield United
I think
Monday night.
the bold play I might do is I would play Sun this week. When Ruben Diaz was out, I was pretty much confident that I want to play Sun, and Diaz actually does a lot of defensive work for City. I mean, he's the one who's holding on to the
Yeah,
defense completely, and if
yeah.
he was out, I was pretty much confident that Sun might sneak up a goal. But let's see.
At the moment, I have Son on the bench.
Yeah, I don't have an option to be honest. I have DCL. I'm going to bench him. I'm not removing him unless we talk myself into wildcarding next week. Okay. Pope captaincy. Do you think it's worth it?
I fully expect Burnley to keep at least one clean sheet. So then again, I'm not against the idea of Pope captain, but I just can't go there when City have a double. Their attacking numbers are so good. I mean, I won't go there, but it's the kind of move I can't really say is too bad either. It does have some sort of logic to it.
Okay, before we wrap up the wild card, if you had to pick what, or you are picking in 25 a wild card, what would your wild card look like?
Okay, so I'd have three from Leeds, I think. The obvious ones: Dallas, Rafinha, Bamford. Dallas, I'm a bit unsure about. Bamford and Rafinha for sure. I'd probably have McCarthy because of the amount of doubles Southampton have coming up. Even though he's not in form, I still think he's going to keep his place. I think Ings. I think I might go with Ings as well. So there's five over there. Other than that, I'm going to have Triple City like everyone else will. Um, Probably the same trio: Cancelo, Stones, and Gundogan. I don't think I can afford Diaz, honestly. So I'd probably stick with Stones and Cancelo. Other than that, so that's eight. Other than that, I can. Okay, so now gets a tricky part. I'll probably go with Shaw, as we spoke about earlier. I'll probably pick a Brighton defender. I think. I think that's very likely that I'll pick a Brighton defender on wildcard.
Or even on a
Other than
single
that,
that, but just
in
let me
midfield,
stop you
Son,
there.
Kane. Yeah,
But that
sure.
that you're having essentially a bench of single game week players then. Maybe if Southampton don't get double there, you have McCarthy and
Yeah,
Ben.
so I'm going to make a choice between Dallas and a Brighton defender, right? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that still leaves your bench with
Yeah,
Rafinha,
that's
Bamford,
fair. Yeah,
Dallas, and
exactly.
McCarthy.
I think I'll have McCarthy as the only one who has a double in 26, and even that might not be the case given how the fixtures pan out. Bamford, Rafinha, and either the Brighton defender or Dallas.
And what punt would you take, like in midfield or attack? One midfielder, one attacker. Madison could be one.
I'd like to get Vardy. I have a feeling about Vardy, but I don't think how I can fit him in. I just can't see how I can fit him in.
You
That's the
you
problem.
probably nobody. I think nobody can fit in more than three premiums at this moment if you're going bench boost. You're spreading funds
Exactly.
ultimately everywhere.
Exactly. It's really hard to actually do that because I don't think I can ignore Son and Kane personally. I'll have to
But
pick Son and Kane for sure.
but to be honest, do you really see Tottenham scoring against sides like Burnley and Fulham more than two goals? Looking at their attacking stats, do you actually see them scoring more than two goals? Because it ultimately comes down to a question for me where I pick Kane or Salah, and who outscores them because Salah has
Yeah, the thing with them, okay,
Sheffield.
this is a very pertinent question that you raised. Yes, their numbers are poor, but I noticed that their numbers are consistently poor against the top sides, and they're consistently good against the weak sides. So you have to sort of, keep that in mind. Yes, you're absolutely right. They might not score more than two goals, but look what happened this week. They won 2-0. Son got what, like 8-9, and Kane got 8 or 9 as well. That really doesn't matter. I mean, their goal involvement percentages are so high that you just know they will be involved,
And also
right?
to point out, Son had two shots if I remember in the game. One outside the box and one inside the box. That was a goal. That is it. He had two chances to be
Yeah,
honest.
exactly. This is it with Son and Kane. They're just like ridiculously clinical, and like you just know, even if they score twice, like there's every chance they're gonna haul. So like, I don't think that's a reason that can stop me. Bruno obviously will be in my team. Um, as far as punts are concerned, I'm actually actively trying to look for some. Uh,
I'm also slightly.
I looked at Trent. Somehow I'll look to fit Trent in my team, I
I
think.
think now that I've thought about Kabak and if we start, I think I'm not sure if he's 5.5 or 5. If he's 5, then I
He's
might just
five. He's five. He's five. Yeah.
then I might just talk myself into wildcarding. Now we'll take a look at my team at the moment.
Yeah, sure.
So my team at the moment is Martinez, Tier, Rudiger, Cancelo, Johnson, Diaz, Kufal, Grealish, Salah, Gundogan, Fernandes, Son, Calvert-Lewin, Bamford, and Antonio. So
Can you send a screen grab to me so that I
uh,
can
yeah, I can probably send you the screenshot as well.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
now I have two free transfers at this moment in with me. So essentially, I'm looking at 4 free transfers before 26 if I don't wildcard. Now, how much
Okay.
do you think is a viable -4, let's say, or -8 if you're bench boosting?
I don't mind a -4 for the bench boost. If you have the opportunity to do it, then I don't mind it.
But that also means that I have certain players like Rudiger or Kufal or probably Ben Mee playing in that 11 or 15.
That's fine. That's fine. I mean, those are clean sheets on paper. I mean, Kufal has what? Like, what are the moves you're planning?
Okay, so now I am pretty much sure that I want to remove Kufal because neither of his fixtures are good after Sheffield, and neither is his double game week good. It's Arsenal and Man City. So I think
This
Kufal out
is
is fair enough because Rudiger has
no, wait,
Newcastle, so that could cover that.
wait. So firstly, if you're considering to wild card, right?
No,
In
I'm not
25, you
considering to
just said
wildcard at the moment. That's the thing. I was actually pretty much confident that I'll make my way without wildcard into 26 and bench boost.
okay, fair. So you're confident you don't want a wild card.
Yeah, because ultimately I'm not also a person who's gonna go double on Spurs attack for a period of time. So essentially 26 to 29, and then I want a wild card back to Salah, because I think that if once Henderson is back in midfield, which also was a case last season, if you remember when Henderson was out pertinently for a certain period of time, Liverpool's attacking threat dropped, and we like against Burnley and teams like that. We saw that we avoided Salah captaincy as well because we were pretty much sure that Henderson is actually doing a lot of work in the midfield, which allows the other forward
Yeah.
players
Their
to
defense,
really
their
go.
defense regressed as well.
Yeah, so I mean, on attacking terms, like eventually, if Salah hits form, you want him back straight away because he's the kind of player who could destroy your rank in one game week.
Fair. So what transfers are you looking at?
So at the moment, I'm looking at Kufal to Ben Me because I don't have the funds to Tarkowski, and
Hmm.
either of Calvert. If I'm punting, if I'm wildcarding in 26, 25, I'm gonna go Calvert Lewin to someone like a Barnes, possibly because then I want a double game week player, or else I'm gonna save the transfer. I don't see the need if I'm gonna not wildcard next week. Also, to mention, a lot of people were asking that should we go to Loten or Peters. Loten could be an option, but I don't see Peters starting the second one, especially Taylor with Taylor back.
Yeah, that's 50-50. Yeah, that's tough. What I mean, another alternative for you could be that you can just like completely forget about Calvert-Lewin. Even if you decide to wildcard in 25, like you just said, you can forget about Calvert-Lewin, put him on your bench, sell Johnson and Kufal for Ben, me, and Tarkowski. You can do that as well.
I could go double Burnley defense as well, but that depends.
Yeah,
Like that is the exact.
I don't think that's a bad option.
That could be actually a good move, but that's exactly the question: that do I stick to my team? And essentially, I was looking at the two drafts which I prepared, the wildcard draft and the current team I have. So if you look at the difference of players, I have a second keeper which will definitely be in there as well. The team difference, I think we have Dyer for Rudiger, we have Shaw, and we have Kabak for Johnson, me, or Tarkowski, respectively, for three defenders. So you have three defenders who have changed. In midfield, I think we have only one change, which is Madison in for Salah. But I'm not worried if I'm not unhappy if I have Salah instead of Madison and no Kane. And we have probably what? A Diagne or a Ings for Antonio. So there's not a lot of changes. It's about 5 to at max 6 changes, which is -8 at the moment. Even if I shuffle
It's
around with the entire team.
yeah. I mean, is that? I'm not sure whether that's enough, honestly, to convince you to wildcard.
Yeah,
It's
and
actually
that's the thing. I mean, I know that Son and Kane will be template out there, but it's again a way that I'm not expecting more than 2 goals. I mean, the Burnley game last time as well. I know it was away from home, but it was not an easy game for Spurs. And now that
that was very tight.
they'll
Yeah,
have
that was
the
very
Thursday
tight.
fixtures coming into play, which is the Europa Cup.
Fair enough. You still have the triple captaincy intact?
Yeah, I still have my triple captaincy intact. I think I'm
So
going to
I'm
save it.
yeah. You're gonna go in with it in 26, right?
No, I'm not. I'm going to bench boost in 26, irrespective of if I wildcard or not.
Okay, fair.
Uh, but
I
I'm
get it.
looking.
Okay,
I
so
think as triple captaincy, I can triple captain any
I
further
see that you're
future
having
game weeks.
reservations regarding Spurs. So maybe I mean you're probably gonna back your gut and not go for triple captaincy with Son
I
and
don't
Kane in
see.
26.
There is an upside, but I'm not sure if I should ideally triple captain. I don't think with bench boost and that I'd want to triple captain in 26. I could triple captain when Spurs have
Do
a
you have
double game week
any
later.
particular game week in mind where you might look at triple captaining someone?
In the previous seasons, I've honestly triple captained in single game weeks. Particularly last time, it ultimately happened to be a single game week where I triple captained De Bruyne, and it was off due to COVID. I think the Arsenal game and the other game as well. He was benched in
All right.
the Manchester game and the Arsenal game was off. So then I had Vardy as my triple captain, which was last fixture before postponements, and he came on as a sub and scored a brace or something like that. So historically, I
Must have
haven't
felt
been.
amazing.
I mean, yeah, it was an amazing thing, but historically, I hadn't been looking triple captain. It has to be a double game week player because I think at the end of the
Okay.
season, when I last season as well, I advised my friend to go triple De Bruyne at the last game week, which is almost every major player does happen to score in that game week. So I'm not really worried about triple captain. I think there will be another Spurs and City double game week because they are in the EFL final, so that should help as well. And
Yeah,
they
fair.
also will
Mm.
like progress to the
There will be,
FA
yeah,
Cup.
there will be some doubles in 27 and 28, 30. So there will be
32,
opportunities.
34. Yeah, I think Ben mentioned 34 and 37 specifically. So yeah, triple captain shouldn't be worry about me as well. I
Fair
don't
enough.
think
Fair.
people should focus on triple captain at the moment. I think the priority is bench 26. I think bench boost. In
Sure,
case
that
you don't
makes
have any
sense.
chips which is free hit, bench boost or wildcard, you probably want to triple captain. In that fixture, I would pick Kane in the double because I prefer
Yeah, I
him
think
a lot.
those fixtures are they suit Kane more. Particularly Burnley at home. I think that's more of a Kane fixture than Son.
No, that was the expected fixture last time as well, and Kane just put the head back to Son and he scored an header. Just something that usually we don't see.
Yeah, it was. If I'm not mistaken, it was from a corner, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was from a
yeah.
corner.
Burnley conceding from a corner. Who would have thought? It happened this game week as well.
I'm just worried. I think Palace don't have any threat apart from open play. Eze, I think he's the
Please
only
don't
one playing
jinx it.
great.
Please don't jinx it. I'll probably have triple defense. Don't
You
jinx it.
just talked me into double defense, so I'm probably thinking about it. I'm still not sure if I find Salah. That's the thing.
The thing is, if you look at it in isolation, you were thinking of buying Barnes. Would you rather fancy a Burnley attacker, or would you rather bet on them for a clean sheet?
No, I think I've said that I'm playing wildcard defense. I hadn't thought
Yeah.
about it that way. But again, should I wildcard or not? That's the question because uh, there's not much difference. There are certain picks, which is Van Bissaka. I think the is
Rafinha, you can
Shaw.
get
If
Rafinha easily. You can get Rafinha easily. The likes of Rafinha, Dallas, etc.
yeah, that gives me an edge in 25 as well. That makes sense.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
the thing.
Rafinha. But Wolves and
There's
Southampton
Rafinha, there's
again. I mean,
Dallas,
Southampton have their players
McCarthy.
fit. It's again about I'm not sure if I'm really convinced on Leeds scoring more than 2 or 3 goals in the double game week in
The thing
25.
with Southampton is I think they are improving. I think they will get better. And I think this is just the time where they're trying to they're picking up form. I think they were unlucky to lose against Newcastle, the game they lost at the weekend. I think they're going to be back to some form soon. And they won against Wolves last night as well in the cup. So I mean they're doing well. They're doing better after the defeat to United. So I do expect some kind of a reaction.
Yeah, and that's the exact reaction that I'm worried about. So if I in case if I wildcard myself, it's not only stopping me from freely transferring players up till 29 and have a nice team in 29 and then wildcard everything out of it because essentially I still have to remove funds from Areola or McCarthy or maybe possibly a third striker or a fifth defender. So those are
Hmm.
also moves that I have to take in account. And essentially after 26 we have about 12 game weeks. Until 29 I don't think I'm going to remove either of Areola or someone like a Dunk or a Brighton defender I have.
Yeah, they're good long-term buys. Yeah, sure.
So there is a lot of thought process going behind it whether it should be a wild card or not. With my team, it's slightly complicated because I have a decent bench. I probably will remove Antonio for someone cheap. I am still looking at Diagne. I'm probably going to bring him because that suits my bracket as well. Or Adams. I think Adams could be a replacement, but I'm not confident of him. He's been really, really painful in the past, so not
Yeah,
sure.
he needs to show some form. His numbers have always been decent, but I mean, he needs to show some form.
And then again, The only problem I have is Rudiger, I think.
Rudiger, I mean, it would have been
So
so
it could
nice
be another
had he had
0-0,
a,
which is what I think. I mean, Chelsea versus United could be a 0-0 again. Because Ole does tend to play that deep, lowing back five against big
I
teams.
think United will score. I think United will score. I think United will score. Their away numbers are decent, and I mean, even if I mean, I think this game is going to be similar to the game against Liverpool that United had at Anfield, and United were actually threatening on the break. I think United will score once.
That's the
And then
exact
there's the game at
reason.
Anfield, and I honestly don't think Chelsea will keep a clean sheet there. Liverpool will probably score at least once.
So I have to take. So now that I'll have to take into consideration. But that also means that I'm benching Son this week. So yeah, I'll probably play Rudiger over him. But that's a huge risk, to be honest. I'm not confident of benching Son. His ownership is 55. I mean, we know that it's a red arrow straight away for the game week.
If he scores, yeah, for sure.
If he scores,
I'm
assists,
taking that
anything.
risk though. I'm taking that risk.
I took that risk last time, it worked off, but I'm not sure if I want to do it again.
I'm just convinced that City won't concede too many goals. I mean, they've conceded 2 goals since, Diaz and Stones have been playing since game week 10, just two from open play.
But
I
one
can't
of
see
them,
them.
I think, two of, I think, no, okay, Diaz wasn't playing for the Tottenham game? Or was it Laporte who started alongside him?
I think Stones wasn't playing that game.
Yeah, so I think Laporte and Diaz were playing there. But
Yeah.
ultimately, that is the Tottenham threat, which is the counter attack ultimately.
It's tough. It's tough. It's tough.
Okay, so I'll be looking into what pros I have. So I get a double Burnley clean sheet if I wildcard next week. I wildcard. I'm probably not going to triple up on Leeds. I think double is what I'll look at, and I'll probably remove either what I planned Diagne in for Ings and Madison in. So that's essentially going without Salah for a Sheffield United game, which is probably at home. I think.
That's away. That's away.
Okay, so Sheffield United away and a Chelsea game at home. But
Yeah.
then Salah is someone I want back as well for Fulham. He's also capped. And that, let's say we don't get Salah, we have a template
I
which we
think there
had
will
earlier.
be, there
Who would
will
you
be
captain
large
in
divide in the
27?
community. There will be large divide in the community, and a lot of, the template is going to break in 25, I reckon, because I think like there will be some teams with Salah in their teams, and they're going to look completely different. And there'll be quite a few like us who are considering going without Salah, and our teams might end up looking different.
So that also means that in 27 Manchester City play Manchester United. So that like puts off Gundogan and Fernandes captaincy. Uh,
Yeah.
any other fixture? I probably captain Kane against Crystal, but I'm not confident of that either. Uh, apart from that, I don't see any other fixture which is captain worthy.
Salah, I mean, another thing that could be done is, I mean, how about selling Bruno in 27? Does that work as an option?
But that doesn't give you either Mane or Salah. I don't know what Mane's price is. I think it's 11.9 or 8. But that still doesn't give you Mane. And I think at this moment of time, I have too much money invested in Bruno. So if I want him the game week, like in game week 28, I won't be able to buy him
Your
because of
values,
my
yeah,
bench
I get it.
spread.
Value is going to be, value is going to be important. But then again, who knows? I mean, some team might end up having a double in 27. We might look at their options as captaincy. You never know.
Yeah,
It's a
probably
bit
looks
of,
like City will still have a double in 27 or Aston.
yeah. I mean, it looks a
Either
bit.
of the teams.
But yeah, I mean, if that's the case, then I mean, Salah is not exactly the standout in that case, and then we can look at it in a different perspective, different light.
Okay, we quickly take up some questions. Do you think Kevin De Bruyne will be back for 26?
No,
I think he'll be
I
back, but
mean,
I don't see him
I mean,
playing.
yes, he can be back, but what I mean is, I don't think he'll be playing regularly. I don't think he'll be back into our consideration as FPL managers as such, because I don't see the need for Pep to, start playing him frequently, because City will also have Champions League coming up. So I mean, I don't see De Bruyne being rushed and playing too many minutes frequently.
And
He might come back in the situation, but I don't think he's going to be in our FPL teams for 26.
it also essentially means that Pep will, if, this season, I think he will focus on the UCL fixture. So I don't see him
Yeah, I
starting
mean, the league
De
will be
Bruyne
done soon.
against fixtures where he doesn't need to.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, thoughts on Josh King? We discussed this earlier, so probably
Yeah,
we'll skip that
pass.
question. I don't think that's worth it. Would you think? There's a lot of questions about Wood. I have to ask it apart from the joke. He's still injured, as far as I know.
Yeah, he's probably he's
So he's
not
coming in
around.
for
So
you.
yeah, Burnley attack is not for me. Yeah, I mean
Has
he's
Zoff
probably a doubt because
contacted and convinced you for Wood till now?
I'm sure Zoff was the one who edited it on Wikipedia as well. I mean, apparently he's a doubt because he's going out with me on Valentine's.
Okay, so I think Dinia is fit. Apart from that, I have Wilson, Werner, Bamford. Probably you'd sell Wilson to whom? I think if you don't have funds, who would you bring in? If you have Bamford and Wilson, who would you sell Wilson for? If you don't have funds,
That's actually very tough. Um,
because
Wilson's
nobody comes
six
to my
point
mind, to be honest.
6.8, right?
Yeah, I think the only option that I look at is
Hey
Adams.
Adams.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was going to say that, and he's not exactly going to. Watkins, maybe.
yeah. Watkins is an option. I
Yeah, I would go with Watkins actually. I would definitely
particularly
go with Watkins.
I do
I
like
would
that
definitely.
fixture in the double.
Yeah, they do have 26 a double coming up, and I mean he's in the form of his life. His stats are really good. I think
Uh,
Watkins over Adams for sure.
Cavani or Antonio to Cavani. What do you think? What do you think about Cavani in general as a replacement for DCL?
I think Antonio is going to play. I don't. I won't sell him, but yeah, Cavani is a good option for Calvert-Lewin replacement for a punt this week.
Dyer to Van Bissaka. I think I would do that. I am pretty much confident United defensively right now,
Yeah,
and also
yeah.
he is doing attacking wise as well. He's doing decent. I mean, a couple of assists as well in the last three. Okay, best teams for the upcoming game weeks. I think it has to be City for me, with the best fixtures. Spurs have a decent.
Easily.
I mean, even if you double up on Spurs in 25, it's West Ham at home, I think, and it's not as bad as a fixture it looks like.
Yeah, Spurs and City are the ones I think.
Okay, it's away from home, but I still don't see Spurs not scoring. It's West Ham is the kind of fixture I see Spurs scoring at. I mean, it's a derby ultimately, and they
It's a
usually
derby.
have a
Yeah,
good score
Spurs
against
they always do
West
their
Ham.
best. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Will DCL play this week? Yes, the probably the second match if he's fit.
Yeah,
I particularly would bench DCL.
yeah.
Dukure as a punt, I mentioned this in the stat I posted that he has a better minutes per goal involvement than James Rodriguez. So I'm not sure
That
if that
might be.
convinces you to take a punt. I wouldn't take it,
Yeah, no, but I don't think I'd go towards the Everton midfield personally.
but I think uh, he's better than James Rodriguez at the moment at least. In
Hamas
fact,
isn't
if I
so
had to
strong that
punt,
form like he did early on.
if I had to punt someone from Everton, it would be Sigurdsson. But then Josh King comes into picture. If Josh King wasn't there, I might take a chance on Sigurdsson.
Yeah, that's the thing now because when King wasn't playing in the game against Everton, Sigurdsson was playing more or less like a supporting striker to Richarlison. So he was very advanced.
He's like the Barkley playing at the Aston Villa team at the moment.
Kind of,
He's
yeah, yeah,
doing
yeah.
the tracking back. He's also getting inside the box. Okay, a lot of questions of which club do you guys support? I think Bakar is a United fan, if I'm not wrong.
No, I don't support any team actually.
Okay, so he doesn't support any team. I am a Chelsea fan.
Yeah, I just like watching football for fun.
Okay,
I
so
just
there are
support I just support whoever gives me points.
definitely Suchek. Okay, so there are no other questions to discuss. I think we've wrapped up. I've almost covered everything I've written down as well. Yeah, so
It
that's
must be
it.
like half past 12, right? Over there.
Yeah,
No, that's late for stream.
fair enough. Okay, so not many chats. If you guys have any other last minute questions, I think we'll wrap up otherwise. I still needing points to whether should I wildcard or not. What do you think on an unbiased note? On an unbiased note, if someone sends you this team says that you have two free transfers, you have a wild card. What would you do in that situation?
It's actually very similar to my team when I'm wildcarding because I want more Leeds assets.
But
And it's
that's
it's actually like we almost have like what at least 11 players the same, 10 players the same, I think. I
I
have
think we
Antonio,
have
Calvert-Lewin, Son, Fernandez, Gundogan, Salah. That's six. Okay, I
we've
have Diaz, you have Stones, that's the same essentially. Cancelo. 8 Martinez, 9 we have 10 players the same. Wild carding.
But then again, it's again the Leeds thing. I look into Leeds. I'm not confident of Leeds scoring these goals. But to be honest, I think it's probably a Wolves fixture and it's at Wolves home. I think so. They tend to
Yeah,
do
Wolves are
defensively
home.
well. Although yeah,
Wolves
Leeds
are
have a
home.
decent away record.
But Leeds away from home are really good.
Yeah.
They're top for shots inside the box. That's the thing. Leeds away from home are really good.
We'll have to look into this.
Yeah.
Justin replace. One player to replace Justin. I think we had a lot of questions about that.
Tarkowski.
What?
Tarkowski.
Tarkowski this week. And if
Yeah.
you already have a Pope, would you double up or have a me
Yeah, why not?
already?
Why not? Why not?
Okay. But this also means that someone who's not wildcarding would be stuck with two Burnley players.
I do think the potential is there, though. I mean, they have two good fixtures this week. Then they have West Brom at home next week as well. So you've got to factor that in as well.
Okay. So that should be it. I think Tarkowski over me and DCR to Watkins or Ings. I would go Ings if I had the money.
That's tough. I'd probably go with Ings as well.
I think
Just
I see
because
the upside with two double game weeks coming up soon.
exactly, that's exactly what I was going to allude to. I mean, too many double games coming up.
And if you have three West Ham players, you probably should be aiming to wildcard. That is the exact problem
Exactly.
I'm facing as well. Three West Ham assets.
I have two.
Because they ultimately have very horrible fixtures
Yeah,
coming up.
yeah. I legit can't wait to get rid of Suchek from my team. I just want
Okay,
to get rid.
so I think we've covered up almost everything which should have been covered.
Yeah. Thanks for
yeah.
having me on.
Yeah.
Pleasure to be on board.
Thanks for getting on us with the stream, and probably we'll have you back sometime soon as well.
Sure.
Just a last
Pleasure.
question: are you playing Suchek or not? For sure, for the people who are watching, just in case.
I am. Yeah.
So for
I am.
everyone who's watching, Bakar is playing Suchek. The record hasn't been great till now, so it's up to you if you want to play Suchek or not. Okay. On that note, this is FPL Tips signing off with Big Man Bakar. Cheers.
All right. Take care, guys. Good luck for the week.